The world is changing, and so is the auto industry. New technologies are springing up every day. However, according to Tesla bull Tony Seba, none can match the EV technology that is set to revolutionize the auto industry.
I want to talk about the next 20 years, but before I do that, I want to take you back a little bit to history. 1900 New York City, we used cars, we humans used horses as our main means of transportation for thousands of years. In a sea of horses, there is one car in this picture. 13 years later, in a sea of cars, there is one horse in that picture.
Tony Seba just revealed the insane pace of EV disruption, and what he has to say will shock every Tesla investor. Tony Seba is a renowned futurist and technology researcher, and he believes that electric vehicles are the future of transportation. The Tesla bull recently shared some insights into how EVs are going to change the face of the auto industry forever, and according to him, the world's not ready for what's coming. Today's video is going to explore electric vehicles and how they're disrupting the future of the automotive industry and revolutionizing the way we drive. From longevity to autonomy, there's a lot to learn from Tony Seba's predictions. So buckle up and get ready to be amazed.
The next 15, 20 years are going to be the most disruptive in history, bar none. And it's not just disruption, it's what I call phase change disruption. And I will tell you what that means. September, new energy vehicles, which is electric plus plug-in hybrids, were 39% of new vehicles, up from like 2% 5 years ago, right? So it's happening very quickly. And some folks, even in the industry, are saying that it might be 80% by 2025, not just 2030. Again, my crazy prediction from 2014 was that by 2030 it's over, right? And so why? Because by 2030, there's going to be $5,000. So that car is probably going to cost $5,000. So for purely economic reasons, by 2030, transportation in competitive markets is pretty much over for combustion engines. But that is not the disruption, really. The big phase change disruption is actually the convergence of autonomous, electric, and on-demand transportation. Think Uber, Didi, robotaxi, right? Owned, managed by fleets.
There is an increase in the demand for electric vehicles at a rate that's never been seen. This is true and is seen in most EV markets globally. For instance, about 2.4 million EVs were delivered in mainland China in the first quarter of last year, which was about 26% of all car sales in the country. In that same period in 2021, electric car sales were only 10% of China's car sales, indicating an increase in demand for EVs in the country. Europe is also recording significant numbers, the same as the United States. But does this mean that EVs are the cars of the future? Could Tony Seba be right with his prediction? Let's find out. Hey guys, welcome back to Tesla Tomorrow. Tony Seba is a strong believer in technology disruption, the convergence of technologies, as well as business model innovation. He also believes the organizational capabilities are actually there for product innovation, and this is what leads to the creation of new industries and societies, and the collapse of existing ones. In result, the actual response that he's had has been to see the expected increase in the demand for EVs, and several car companies have also set targets for electric vehicle production for the coming years. But Tony Seba noted that while there is a massive adoption of electric cars, not every ICE maker can manufacture electric cars, at least not like Tesla. Before we carry on though, if you like this type of content, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on post notifications to keep up to date on everything going on with Tesla. Several analysts have predicted massive growth in the EV sector in the coming years, resulting in a decline in the manufacturing of ICE vehicles. Some have even predicted that manufacturers won't sell ICE vehicles after 2028. By 2035 to 2040, there's going to be almost zero of them on the roads anymore. Tony Seba, just like several other Tesla bulls like Cathie Wood, have predicted that EVs will become cheaper than ICE cars, and significantly better in many ways. Currently, several companies want to join the EV train, and many of them have produced a few electric vehicles. But the problem is, these companies do not have what it takes to stay in the EV business. Manufacturing electric vehicles requires more than just making electric cars to meet targets. It takes a lot to make an EV, and car companies cannot just switch to manufacturing these types of cars since it's a completely new technology. In a previous article shared by Tony Seba, it claimed that companies like Ford, GM, Mazda, Toyota, Volkswagen, and Jaguar are beginning to admit that they can't make EVs at a profit, and are already starting to even beg for special consideration or green taxes designed to hurry up the transition. We're not trying to say that these companies can't join the EV revolution, it's simply that they can't produce these cars at scale. According to previous EV reports, Mazda and Jaguar have admitted that they're giving up on making mainstream EVs. Volkswagen is pulling out of China because its EVs aren't selling there. GM is begging for less penalties for making too many forecast ICE sales in 2027 to 2030, and Ford is currently cutting production rates of EVs because they're losing too much on every single sale. It's simple, these companies cannot catch up. Installing robust and accessible charging infrastructure and reducing the environmental impact of critical mineral extraction for electric vehicle batteries are just a few of the attendant issues to try and make EVs a reality across the world. And the interesting thing is that Tesla's got a stronghold on this, and it's set to tear apart the industry. The car company has been in the EV business for years, and during that time it's expanded its markets and increased sales through improved technology and scaling of its revenue. With the current and expected trends in the use of electric vehicles, it's obvious that the future will be good for EV company stocks, especially for Tesla. More companies are starting to consider electric vehicles, and that's a good thing, seeing that more governments around the world are likely to adopt similar policies in the future. Likewise, oil prices are becoming unstable, and they have been over the past few years. And it's likely that these prices will go up higher in the coming years. Therefore, moving to EVs may eventually save costs that come with using ICE cars in the future. About 6.6 million cars globally are actually EVs, and those purchases were recorded in 2021, from 3 million a year earlier. This shows that there is an increase in demand for EVs, and that may signal a shift to clean energy. Several factors have also catalyzed this massive shift to EVs. For instance, countries that are making policies that are aimed at reducing emissions from petrol cars, which without appropriate laws to mitigate them, could lead to a big climactic change in the coming years. A perfect example is the Canadian government setting a mandatory target for new light-duty cars and passenger trucks in the country to be zero emission by 2035. Many other companies have also got similar policies. In the past decades, the demand for electric cars has increased tremendously, and now, more than ever, more people are buying and using them. Most Tesla bulls believe that this increase in the use of electric cars will have a positive effect on Tesla and its sales as well as demand. Do you think they're right though? Let us know down below, and don't forget to tell us what your valuation of Tesla is. And for more content just like this, go ahead and click on this next video on your screen. See you there.